If you travel deep into the emerald canopy of the Pacific Northwest, past the point where cellular signals fade to zero, past the paved highways, and deep into the damp, ancient pine forests, you will find yourself in a world ruled by silence. The air here is cold, smelling of wet earth, decaying pine needles, and the sharp, unmistakable tang of coal smoke. If you stand perfectly still and listen past the whispering of the wind through the Douglas firs, you will hear a rhythmic, heavy sound echoing through the valley. Inside a rustic, towering timber structure sits a private forge. Standing before the glowing hearth is a giant of a man. His shoulders are incredibly broad, his hands are thick with deep calluses, and his face is lined with the quiet, intense focus of a monk. His name is Marcus Thorne. Marcus is a master industrial designer and artisan. In a modern era where the entire world is obsessed with digital scale, viral loops, instant downloads, and immediate gratification, Marcus does something that feels almost mythic. He works in absolute, unbroken silence. He doesn't have an Instagram account. He doesn't run Facebook ads. He doesn't have a slick sales team cold calling prospective clients, and he doesn't use digital marketing funnels to capture leads. Yet, despite his complete invisibility online, his schedule is booked out for years. Billionaires, global luxury hotel brands, elite architectural firms, and private art collectors wait up to 5 years just to acquire a single piece of his work. They are willing to pay hundreds of thousands of dollars for hand-forged architectural gates, bespoke textured steel entry doors, and custom structural ironwork designed to withstand centuries of weathering. To the modern venture capitalist, Marcus Thorne is an absolute paradox. Over his career, massive manufacturing conglomerates have approached him with 7-figure offers. They wanted to license his designs, mass-produce his custom metal finishes in automated factories, and scale his name into a global household brand sold in luxury retail chains. Every single time, Marcus quietly declined the offers. He didn't try to negotiate, he didn't ask for a higher percentage. He simply said no and returned to his anvil. To the average entrepreneur, turning down millions to keep sweating over hot steel in a cold wooden shed looks like sheer madness. But Marcus isn't mad. He is operating on a financial wavelength that 99% of people will never understand. He has discovered a timeless economic law that makes him entirely immune to stock market crashes, global recessions, automated software, and the rising tide of artificial intelligence. While the rest of the world scrambles to adapt to the next technological disruption, the silent blacksmith remains completely untouched. To truly understand what Marcus did, and how you can apply his wisdom to your own financial journey, we have to look at the massive trap hidden inside modern career and business advice. For the last 2 decades, the global economy has preached a single, undisputed gospel: scale. We are told that the only way to build true wealth is to build something that can be multiplied infinitely with zero marginal cost. We are urged to build a software-as-a-service app, create an online course, launch a drop shipping store, or automate an agency. The goal is always to create a system where you can sell to millions of people simultaneously while doing as little manual work as possible. But this digital gold rush has created a massive, unintended consequence that is crushing the average creator, freelancer, and professional today: hypercommoditization. When digital tools become so easy that anyone can launch a business in a single weekend, the market becomes flooded with noise. When artificial intelligence can generate copy, write clean code, design graphics, and build websites in seconds, the value of those standard skills drops straight to zero. If your skill can be automated, it will be automated. If your job can be outsourced to a digital platform or an algorithm, your income will eventually be squeezed to the absolute minimum. We are living in an era where scaling outward has become a brutal race to the bottom. Marcus Thorne saw this coming years ago. Instead of trying to scale outward to reach millions of people for a small profit, Marcus made the deliberate decision to scale deep. He chose to focus on a micro-audience willing to pay a fortune. He retreated to his private forge and built his life around a 3-step blueprint that we call the Industrial Hermit Framework. First, Marcus refused to produce anything that could be replicated by a machine. He graduated with an elite degree in industrial engineering, which gave him a deep understanding of structural physics, metallurgy, and material science. But instead of sitting behind a computer screen designing CAD models for a massive corporation, he coupled that advanced technical knowledge with the raw, chaotic, physical human element of manual blacksmithing. When Marcus heats a steel billet to 2000 degrees and strikes it with his hammer, the result is completely unique. The microscopic imperfections, the grain of the folded iron, and the hand-hewn textures cannot be replicated by an industrial press or simulated by a rendering engine. His work contains what artists call perfect imperfections. He did not just build a product, he built a personal monopoly. If you want a Marcus Thorne architectural element, there is only one place on the entire planet to get it, from his hands. Second, while the rest of the business world was figuring out how to produce more to satisfy demand, Marcus resolved to produce less. He put a hard limit on his annual output. He decided he would only take on 5 to 6 major commissions a year. By creating extreme, authentic scarcity, he didn't destroy his earning potential, he actually multiplied his demand. In basic economics, we are taught that price is determined by supply and demand. When you drive the supply of an elite asset down to near zero, the price curve becomes almost entirely vertical. High net worth clients do not buy his work because it is convenient, they buy it because it is rare. In the elite corners of the world, owning something that money alone cannot easily buy is the ultimate luxury. Finally, Marcus chose to operate in complete silence. He recognized that in a world where everyone is shouting for attention, quietness is a sign of supreme confidence. By refusing to market himself, he shifted the power dynamic entirely. He never pitches his services. He never submits bids to compete with other designers. Instead, clients must find him, make their way to his forest forge, and convince him to take on their project. This extreme positioning allows him to command astronomical fees, often 6 figures for a single gate or entryway, with zero pushback on pricing. So, what is the ultimate wealth archive lesson we can draw from the story of the silent blacksmith? It is the law of irreplaceable value. The law states that your financial leverage in any economy is directly proportional to how difficult it is to replace you. When you pour your raw, unique, God-given genius into a single, rare craft, you completely remove yourself from the global commodity labor pool. You are no longer competing with millions of remote workers on freelancing platforms, and you are certainly not competing with a line of code in an AI model. The stock market can crash tomorrow, wiping out trillions of dollars in paper wealth. Real estate markets can freeze up as interest rates fluctuate. Tech companies can lay off tens of thousands of highly paid employees overnight because their software tools became obsolete. But the demand for elite, irreplaceable human mastery has remained completely unbroken for thousands of years. You do not need to buy a physical forge in the forest of the Pacific Northwest to apply this law to your own life and career. The industrial hermit mindset is a template for any professional who wants to escape the commodity trap. Think about the software architect who doesn't just write basic code, but who has spent 15 years mastering the incredibly complex, legacy-grade systems that run global banking infrastructures. Think about the surgeon who pioneers a highly specialized, incredibly delicate surgical technique that only 5 people in the world can perform. Think about the artisan designer who blends traditional physical materials with cutting-edge environmental design. The path to commanding supreme premium rates and achieving absolute career security is always the same. Do not compete on volume. Compete on irreplaceability. If your daily work consists of tasks that can be written down in a simple instruction manual, you are highly vulnerable. But if your work is a fusion of deep technical expertise, physical presence, rare artistic intuition, and hard-earned experience, you become an economic fortress. When your output cannot be automated, simulated, or easily substituted, the market completely loses its leverage over you. You stop asking what the market is willing to pay. You begin to dictate your own terms, The next time you feel overwhelmed by the dizzying speed of the digital world, the endless updates, and the fear of being replaced by the next wave of technology, take a deep breath and remember the man in the forest. While the rest of the world is running on a hamster wheel trying to keep up with changing algorithms, Marcus Thorne is quietly heating the metal, lifting his hammer, and building a legacy of wealth that stands the test of time. Stop trying to reach everyone. Stop trying to compete with the machines at their own game of speed and volume. Instead, turn inward. Focus on building the one thing that cannot be replaced, your own unique, high-value craft. If you want to unlock more hidden laws of wealth, deep business strategy, and elite mastery, make sure to subscribe to the Wealth Archive. We will see you in the next archive.